to express himself. He's running for office, and I know it's a hard journey out there. He's knocking on doors, but I'm gonna give him the time. And the reason this microphone, anyway, and the reason I said I'm gonna the reason I said I'm gonna give him the time he need is because guess what? At WPTP, we're the only radio station that's gonna get for real down and dirty, get raw, and say what we want to say, but do it decent in order. And from on Saturdays, we the hottest thing rolling from 12 to 2. We the hottest thing rolling. Ain't nobody listen to nobody but WPTP. I don't care who you are. Numbers don't lie. Numbers tell each other. So, Mr. Brooks, how you doing?
Well, I'm fine.
I can't hear him. Yeah, can you hear yourself?
Nope.
All right, Mr. Brooks, go ahead.
Okay. Nope.
I ain't getting nothing. Hold up. Mr. Brooks, we'll get Mr. Brooks straight away, y'all. We're gonna get Mr. Brooks straight away. Take that mic, Mr. Brooks. We're gonna get you straight away, Mr. Brooks. We're gonna get him.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Turn him up. Yeah, turn him up, man. Mr. Brooks, you live on WPTP Radio. Mr. Brooks, I'm gonna let you know you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook right now, Mr. Brooks. So you're live. People downtown, the whole Alton Park is listening to you right now. Having Ross Boulevard, anybody live downtown, over the river. So you're in the main areas. Amacola Highway, they can hear you live on the radio right now at 100.1. So, Mr. Brooks, how long have you been an attorney in Hamilton County?
I've lived in Hamilton County my whole life. I got out of law school in 78. Came back to Chattanooga in 81. So a long time. Nearly 40 years, 41 years.
41 years? No, 44 years.
Well, 81 is when I came back to Chattanooga, but I've been a lawyer 44 years.
So you're the Democratic person that the Democrats has put in to run against the other opponent in this race. How you strongly feel about the Democratic Party? Be honest. I'm gonna lie. I'm just saying what the streets say. I'm just a radio host. Don't shoot the messenger. The Democratic Party ain't did nothing for Hamilton County. That's what that's what people say on the street. So how can you change that around, Mr. Brooks?
I don't agree with you. Well, Democratic Party has done things for Hamilton County.
Tell me some of the things they did.
We've sort of died out in the last 10 years.
Okay.
The Republicans have taken over the county. There is only one elected official that's a Democrat countywide, and that's Judge Don Poole.
Okay.
So everybody else is a Republican.
Wow. In the whole county?
In the countywide offices. Now, if you go to the county commission, 3 of them are Democrats and 6 of them are Republicans.
No, I'm just talking about what you said. It's very, very interesting. You said people that getting paid.
Well, yeah, the people that hold the offices are all Republicans.
Wow. And it's one person. That's Don Poole. So what really made you run for DA? Because district attorneys make a lot of decisions about people's lives, like marijuana cases, domestic violence cases. This is one thing I see in Hamilton County that the DA need to do is look at both sides of the story when it comes to domestic assault. Because now we got domestic assault. We got a guy who got arrested. And I can talk on that because I deal with it every day. So we got a guy who got arrested. They go to court. The DA dismisses because the police officer just quick to take somebody to jail, but then get all the facts. But won't they tie your office up with all this misdemeanor stuff?
Well, you asked why I ran. I saw who was running as a Republican, and I wanted to give the people of the county a choice. Now, I'll do a better, more efficient job, more professional job, and a fairer job. Now, I've been a Democrat my whole life. The reason I'm a Democrat is 2 reasons. Number one, when I was a kid, there was still segregation. Now, I think everybody is the same. We just come in different wrappers. Number 2, I think a woman has an absolute right to control her own body. Now, those 2 things make me a Democrat. I voted, the first person I ever voted for was Democratic primary 1972. And I voted for a woman by the name of Shirley Chisholm. Now, I was growing up in Ooltewah. Now, she was the first Black female congressperson. Now, I will tell you, in Ooltewah, I was her one vote. But I'd heard her speak, and I thought she was a brilliant person. After that, I went off to West Point, and while I was there, I voted for the Democratic candidate for president in 1972, McGovern. I've been a county commissioner as a Democrat here, and I believe I can get things done. And you're absolutely right. The DA's office has a tremendous amount of power in how they prosecute and who they prosecute. And they can destroy a person's life very quickly. If you're arrested as a young man, young woman too, but a young man in particular, and you get a criminal record, now go out and get a job. That's just so difficult. Marijuana should be legal. It's silly for us here to put anybody in jail at all for marijuana or even to arrest them. I think that that's just a waste of our time. Where we need to focus are violent crimes. I believe that when someone is shot, someone is killed, somebody has their house broken into, those are the kind of crimes that people need to have solved and brought to justice. Domestic violence is probably more of a social work issue than a lot of things.
Okay.
But they have made the law to where if somebody calls and somebody's got some indication of an injury, the police officer has to arrest somebody.
Do they have to? But you're the DA, so so that's state law.
That's state law, and that's generally handled by the police department or the sheriff's department.
Okay.
Now, how you prosecute the case once it's in there is up to the DA.
Okay. Okay. So once it gets to the county, it's in the DA hands. So going into this job as a DA, you know, it's big shoes to fill. Since Mr. Neil Pickerson ain't there no more, it's gonna be some big shoes to fill. Do you think you'll keep the team of DAs you have now, or will you bring in a whole new team? Because they affect you at the end of the day. How they act in Sessions Court and Criminal Court, at the end of the day, it affect Mr. John Brooks.
Of course.
Okay, so how would you go in this thing? Because now the community is devastated with the DA's office. I'm just telling you what people been calling, saying, and putting in. They are devastated with the DA's office. Decisions has been made on some charges, and nobody's doing nothing about it. I'm just saying this DA race right here, I know it's very serious. 8 years. You got people in jail right now in Hamilton County that the DAs don't even know they did the crime or not. They just putting it on them, and then when they go to court, they get it dismissed. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking for facts. I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I'm talking for facts. So how do we solve that case? Well, and then another thing, we got cases going on. Somebody got arrested last year in September. Don't been to court 3 times. Why is he still going to court now? Why the DA office ain't solving or moving no cases on? I mean, you tie people's lives up, and then it makes it hard for the bail bondsmen because the bail bondsmen got these people out on bond. The person done been to court 4 times and nothing been done, so they get devastated and say they're not going next time. But then the county want to hold the bail bondsman 100% of the bond, but this DA office who really hold us up on this case that should have been getting solved a long time ago. I'm just saying, a DUI shouldn't go on 2 years. I got a DUI. Talking from experience, 2017, 18, they got the all drunk. I don't even drink. So the funny thing about it, when I went to court, it got dismissed. But I got DUI. I went to court 2 years on the DUI because the DA couldn't figure if I was drunk and have nothing. And it wasn't. It was just I was upset. And then I didn't even tell them who I was at the time. But when they got to court, they found out the hard way. And I'm the first black male to be the state trooper in trial in Hamilton County, along with the Bill Speaks office. And I say this for beating my DUI. I was the first. Every head went up, every head went down. And they still talk about it to this day. But when I'm saying we got to stop at the DA office, I'm just talking this because I want this stuff to be different. I got a son out there. And if you're going to be in there for the next 8 years, I want you to fight crime at the DA's program because I'm getting older. And we all getting older. And if a crime happened, prosecute them. But if they not, Mr. Brooks, if they're not doing nothing, don't prosecute them. Like I say, rehab classes, like you said, with marijuana or domestic assault, it's more social things need to be done. But this DA office, people don't realize in the county how serious this job is. I take the DA office job to be one of the serious jobs in the county because you got people's lives in your hand. So, Mr. Brooks, tell us what you're going to do about all this.
First, I would seize control of the office,
Okay.
hire people. Now, you asked a question, you asked 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, right.
And I think the vast majority of the district attorneys are going to be there. Why you can't fire everybody at once, but a lot of people are leaving.
Okay.
I think that what I would do is put one person in charge in sessions court and have one in charge of criminal court and start looking at these cases to get them done. I want to take care of misdemeanors in sessions court.
Right.
I don't want to send them up to criminal court.
Okay.
I'm going to encourage people to try their cases down there. Now, I guess it depends on who your attorney is and who the judge is.
Okay.
But my theory is that these cases should be tried down there. Now, if the DA's office loses a case, okay, then maybe we didn't have the best case.
Okay.
But we don't need to let a case sit around for months and months and in criminal court for years and years. You do that and you have somebody's life just tied up. Now, I think that in juvenile court's a different matter. But when you're dealing with a person's life, when you're dealing with somebody's livelihood, then you better treat it seriously and do the very best work you can. I'll keep accurate records of how these cases are flowing through. I will pay attention. I think that one of the problems with the DA's office in the last couple of years was COVID. They didn't have to come into the office. Now, I thought that was a mistake. I think if anybody is an essential worker, it should be the district attorney, especially if somebody has been put in a jail and you're supposed to make a decision whether you're going to prosecute that case.
Right.
So those are things that I think I can do. Now, I grew up here. I grew up in Ooltewah, grew up on a dairy farm. I learned how to work hard as a young man.
Dairy farm.
Yes, sir.
You got okay.
Yeah.
You must got some money.
Well,
You gotta have so you grew up on a dairy farm and go ahead. I like that. And so you self-made. So you self-made. You all right
Yeah.
either way it go.
I decided to run because I looked at the 2 people running in the Republican primary.
Okay.
And I thought that General Pinkston had made mistakes in how he handled employment down there. And I thought he was going to get beat. My opponent is very young, immature, young attorney. And I was scared what would happen. You know, she has an idea that every case is to be tried. Well, you can't do that. There's not enough judges to try a case, all of them. I think you have to focus on the cases that make a difference to people. Those are cases where there's acts of violence, somebody is shot, someone is hurt. I think it's people that have their houses broken into. I can't think of much more of an invasive kind of act than a burglary. Now, those should be paid attention to. The marijuana cases, as I said, I think it should be legal. Drug cases, we should be looking for treatment. There's got to be a better way of handling it. That you have so many young people, middle-aged people that are addicts, particularly to, well, now heroin, fentanyl, meth. That's just eating them up. So what good do we do to arrest them, put them in prison, and don't treat them? I think that drug treatment is just very important. It's something I will push in almost every case where there's someone with a drug habit. Now, you know, I will pay attention to young folks. The last thing in the world is I want to turn an 18-year-old into a position where they can't get a job. You convict them, you put a felony on them, and especially these small drug offenses. Now, they do this all the time, and here's why. They get a drug felony on them, so the next time if they're stopped with a gun, they call up the Fed and said, we got somebody here for you. Okay. Now, that happens every week here in Chattanooga.
Wow, y'all hear that? Come on now, give us the truth. I like this. Y'all hear this? Y'all need to be listening.
So, you know, I can be a difficult man. I am not an easy man. I have tried numerous murder cases. I've handled 50 of them. I've handled death penalties. I've done a couple of hundred federal cases. I've been to the U.S. Supreme Court. I've been to the state Supreme Court. I have the experience and I have a work ethic. I can't help myself. Somebody asked me today what time I got up. I got up at 6, and that's late for me today.
That's late.
Yeah, I grew up on I told you, a dairy farm.
Okay.
We started at 4 o'clock in the morning. And my first job was scraping up manure. That trained me well to be a lawyer.
Wow.
So, and as far as Hamilton County has been my home, it has been my family's home for 5 generations. Our farm is in Ooltewah, and I care about this county. I care about the people here. And I think I can do a good job at this and try to make it a safer place. Now, that's what I honestly believe. And I'm not much of a liar. I just can't help myself. I tell the damn truth. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I mean,
Excuse me.
hey, I know you're going to tell the truth. And we know what we need here at this station. We want you to tell the truth because, hey, I'm going to let you tell your truth. And I'm going to let you do your thing. But right now, crime is up. And crime is up in Hamilton County. And crime is up in Hamilton County. And hey, Michael. Yeah. Crime is up in Hamilton County. And crime is up in Hamilton County, and we gotta. Is it still on? Yeah. Right. Crime is up in Hamilton County, and we gotta think right now, Mr. Brooks, in Hamilton County, about this crime that's going up in Hamilton County. What did the DA office going to do about this?
Which crimes are you talking about?
The homicides is up. The fentanyl cases is up. That's for 2. And the police department can't really solve the cases. They can't really solve the cases, and they don't know who did the crimes, and they just arresting anybody. So innocent people going to jail. So as the DA office, how would you look at situations like that? How would you talk to the police chief? How would you talk to the sheriff about handling different cases? Because they can do all that, but when it comes to you, you ain't got no proof. You got to let them go home. So that's wasting time and wasting taxpayers' money to deal with cases. And then we're going back to ground zero. I know right now we got a couple of cases that's coming up in court right in Hamilton County now. We got a couple of cases, and DA office ain't going to slightest idea what to do with it. But they prolong and pass it, hoping and selling the family a dream instead of keeping it real to the family. And everybody got their hopes built up, and then when they come out, case dismissed.
You know, you got to work at it. You got to be prepared. I think that you demand, well, the district attorney's office doesn't generally initiate a case. You said, how do you deal with certain issues? Drug issues, you really got to go with the Fed. The Fed have the resources. And when you're talking about fentanyl,
Yes, sir.
they're the ones. I mean, this stuff's all coming in from Mexico for the most part, being brought over. The fentanyl, yeah. I mean, it's a big money maker. And a lot of people that are heroin addicts are actually buying fentanyl and don't even know it. Fentanyl is a lot more dangerous. Now, then you talk about the second-degree murder charges for someone who sold somebody the drugs and they died from it. Those are difficult cases to prove, and I would think that those are the ones most likely to end up being dismissed. People need, crimes are generally tied to, need for drugs or money. I think that one thing we could do is do more for young people, give them summer jobs. Let's find some money to pay them to come out and take care of let's say, camps and all.
Right.
Hire the 15-year-old, give them a little bit of money. Don't let them be looking out on the street as a place to make money. Now, that's a long-term view of it, but that's one way to, you can't cut crime unless you deal with the young ones that are getting ready to enter into the world of, they're selling rocks or they're selling whatever out there on the street.
I like it. You keep it real. I like it.
And I mean, they see the money in this. Well, let's give them a different view out there. And I think that that's the way you help handle this. Young kids get recruited into the gangs or whatever you want to call them to sell the drugs because we can't do much, if anything, to them. They're a juvenile. So they come in, they make them come in 2 or 3 times and go through maybe probation, and then they're gone. Now, that to me is a horrible crime for the adult that's using kids. How do you catch them? Well, that's when, the federal government's very helpful with that. And they're dangerous out there. As I told you, I've done a couple of hundred federal cases. When they arrest you, you typically don't get out.
But some of them do get out, though.
Not many.
Okay.
When you get a 98% conviction rate, ain't many walk away.
Wow. So your office be working with the feds a lot. They come in. They have to. Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Right.
What I will concentrate on are crimes of violence here. Crimes against children are a particular thing for me.
Right.
And I keep saying it, burglaries. I can't think of how more, to me, that's one of the most invasive crimes. You have your house broken into, you have your apartment entered, you don't know what's going to happen. They take your stuff. I find that to be a very offensive crime.
Let me ask you another. So would you prosecute police officers if a police officer do something wrong? Because there's like with the George Floyd case, and that's when you step into black folks with human rights, unity group, NAACP. It's gonna get kind of hard being a DA. So if a police officer do something wrong to a citizen, and they did something wrong, how far would you go prosecuting?
I would prosecute them probably more stringently than most anybody else because they're in a particular position of power. When they hurt somebody, when they use their authority to stop them, I think that's a terrible crime. So the answer is yes, I would prosecute them.
That's what the community want to know. That's one of the big things as a DA. I can't tell you how to run your office, but they want to know you're going to prosecute the police officer or what you're going to do about marijuana and how far the case is going on. Because, as we all know you as a lawyer, some of y'all lawyers, I'm going to keep it real.
It is.
They breaking people, man. They talking about, well, if we downstairs, and I understand we downstairs, it's one lawyer in particular, I can't call him name. He got a lot of cases, but he's cheaper than every lawyer in town. And he's just taking people cases, and these same people still in sessions court after 3 years. After 3 years, it's facts. And the DA doesn't get tired, but like you said, some of the DAs ain't here, they quitting. And I was in court the other day, and I asked the guy, man, how long you been going to court? I've been going 3 years. The same lawyer got all these cases, and nobody's doing nothing about it. And like I said, it's tying everybody up. And so if you come DA next month or September, you're going to have a lot of cases. I'm telling you, you're going to have so many cases, backlog cases, murder cases, homicide cases that happened 4 years ago that ain't even went to trial yet.
Listen, I have a couple of them. One's over 5 years old. I'm the third attorney. Now, I understand. As I told you, I've done, I don't know if 100 homicide cases, but I've tried at least 15 or 20.
Okay.
So I understand that concept. And very often you get a case where they've gone through a couple of appointed attorneys and they bring somebody like me in because I'm going to get ready and take care of it.
Okay.
Now, when I get in there, it'll take me a day or two to figure out where everything is screwed up. But once I do, I will work diligently to get these cases done. I don't want any misdemeanor to hang around over 6 months in Sessions Court.
Right.
I figure 6 months is enough time unless there's something very unusual about it. I don't want to have as many DUIs being brought up to criminal court. Those should be tried in Sessions Court, but they bring them up there because, the longer it gets delayed, the more that witnesses can disappear.
Okay.
Things can happen. And so they're doing that to try to push it off so that they can get a better deal for their client. I understand that. But 3 years for a Sessions Court case, that's just wrong. I can't say it won't happen, but I will have somebody, as I said, in charge down there in Sessions Court, and they're going to be watching it, and we'll look at that. And if it starts happening and it happens to be one particular attorney, then attention will be paid.
So as a DA, you had that much power to see if the attorney trying to use the system, that you can do something to the attorney?
No, but
Oh,
you just don't pass the case.
just don't pass. Okay.
Okay. You pay attention and you say, no, we're going to hear this one.
Okay. Because you're the DA?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that because there's a lot going on. And Hamilton County, man, they said we're the fourth worst run city in the world right now. You know that, right? We're the fourth worst city as administration in the world right now. Hamilton County is.
The Chattanooga city government or county government?
Hamilton County.
Okay, that's different than the city.
See what I'm saying? The Hamilton County is the fourth worstest in any place right now. So how would you fix that by coming in and being there? Because right now, the guys in the hood, I'm going to keep it real because I'm from the hood. They say, man, it's a DA, man. DA ain't messing with me. The DA, they ain't got none of my case. It's in the DA hands. I understand you got to do your job. As a DA, we understand it. But I want you to help the community out as well. Because like you say, some guys playing football in high school, they go to a party, and then that night something happens, and then they end up getting arrested. But that messed up their whole football scholarship because they was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, if they did a violent crime, yeah, get them. Because I don't want no violent crime to just keep running the streets, shooting people, hurting people. But at the same time, if this child, first time in trouble, went to a little party, got to a little fight, got a little scuffle, they arrested him. Now his whole football career is on the line of the DAs. That's why I look at it, because he got arrested. He got to face it. How would you face things like that?
Learn the facts first. Then if it's truly the first time, you should bend over backward to get them out of that without a record. That's why you have diversion.
Okay.
You pay attention to something like that. Young men tend to get in fights. I shouldn't say that, but I was a young man once. And I played football, and I was in the Army, and I did all that stuff. And I understand being aggressive, and sometimes things happen. And especially if you mix any alcohol with it, it's amazing how stupid you can become after drinking a little bit of alcohol. But you've got an 18-year-old, no prior record on an assault. I can't see why you would ever leave him with a record unless he just he made even more mistakes. But, those are the kind of cases that we should get done with quickly. I think there's a pretty clear view on that. If I can leave a young person without a record because their first time they've come in there, then that's the right thing. Because these 18-year-olds will end up old men like me. Okay, and they want to get a job. They're 35. They're applying to TVA. They could get a job at TVA, but they go back here and they had a marijuana possession when they were 19.
Yeah.
Or they had a DUI when they were 20. These are things that we shouldn't leave young folks with a tremendous record. Now, it's a different matter when you shot somebody. When you shoot somebody, that's, unless you can show self-defense.
Okay, there's another. Is there a self-defense law in Hamilton County?
It's Tennessee. Sure there is.
Oh, it is? Okay, I didn't know it was self-defense law.
There's a self-defense. Say you're in your own home
Okay.
and somebody comes in and you shoot them,
Okay.
that's pretty much self-defense by statute.
Okay. That's it.
And so you're defending your own home. You don't have to retreat from your home.
What about a business like a beauty salon, barbershop, or
I would think that the same thing would apply. And something if somebody's in there to rob you and you're defending yourself, yeah, I don't think that's self-defense.
right? You're making a lot of great points, and this is what they want to hear. And I'm telling you, that's what they want to hear. And what you're saying here on the radio station, I hope when you get in there, you stay to your word, because a lot of people just talk on the campaign trail and not staying to their word, because we're dealing with a problem right now with most stuff that they got office. But your DA, man, it's a big job. People rely on the DA. You got everybody lights in your hand. You the powerful man. I mean, you got more respect to me than anybody, because the only thing the police doing is just arresting you, taking you to jail. But we still got to end up with the DA office. You determine how my life going to be on the stupid mistakes I made.
Well, that's very true. And that's one thing I have is experience. I have a lot more experience than my opponent. I've done a lot of this stuff. My goal is to make this place a better place. Now, you said, why am I doing this?
Yes.
I like to make a difference. I've always wanted to make a difference. It's not for money or anything at all like that. It's not for power, but I think I can do a better job. I'm running because I want to make this office in Hamilton County the best office in the state. And I want to ensure that every person is treated on the basis of the crime, not who they are or what they look like. Yeah.
And I think that we in this county, a lot of people still don't know what district attorney means until they get arrested and they go to court, and then they see the people sitting over here and they see the public defender. They really don't know. They get y'all confused sometimes.
Well, it's easy. I mean, it's a confusing place in Sessions Court. I've been down there in hell. Heck, I don't know what in the world is going on down there, and I've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's a hard job being a district attorney down in Sessions Court, but you have to get ready every day. It's not a game. It's not something to be rude to anybody. The district attorney should pay attention to what people tell them and always be polite. Always be polite. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to give you what you want. There's a friend of mine who's a DA down there, and I'm not going to say his name. Best DA I've ever run into. He knows his case as well. And he can tell you you're going to do 1129 and smile at you and always be polite.
Right.
That's what I want.
Right. Because, don't be mean to people. And you got to do your job as well. Yes. And I want you to do your job. That's why we put the best person in the district attorney race. But you got a lot of work to do. So it's election time right now. It's early voting right now, right?
Early vote started yesterday. The election's August 4th.
So you got to listen, Mr. Brooks. You got a lot of work to do, Mr. Brooks. You got a lot of work. And I'm on this station. I want you to have all the time you can have, what you need to do to get to work. A lot of people listen to this black radio station. It's another black radio station, but we're the only black radio station that's nonprofit and pretty much can do more than what anybody else can do. But I want you to get your word out. Anything else you got to say, tell the people, look at the camera.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at you.
I know. But tell the people you're on Facebook, Instagram, you're on the radio, you're on 5 different platforms right now. Tell the people what you want to tell them. I'm going to let you do your thing because I ain't no hater. I'm a congratulator. And what you're going to say today is going to determine from the black community if you're going to be in office or not.
Well, it's clear that black folks have not been treated fairly in the system ever in the South. Probably for the most part, the whole country. I have a lot of friends who over the years have been pulled over, and we call it a DWB, driving while black. You have these instances, and if you're a 18-year-old young black male and you're driving a car, do you think it's more likely that they would pull you over for the same thing than a 35-year-old white male or a white female? Of course. We see it daily. Those are the kind of things that we need to stop. The district attorney's office needs to work on that. Why? Because that ends up with young black men and women being disproportionately pulled over and arrested for small crimes. Gordon County in Georgia, I saw where 85% of the arrests for marijuana possession were black folks. Well, okay, but nobody white in Gordon County smoked pot. You know, they're 15% of the population, 85% of the people charged. Of course, that's profiling. You know, I've seen police officers who was a fellow out in Collegedale. He was driving, he was delivering a meal, and the police officer in Collegedale just berated him, and the man just asked, he was scared of the guy, and it turns out he had a right to be. Now, there's an officer that should be prosecuted, whether federally or statewide. Now, he violated that young man's right. Now, he might have had a reason, he might not have had a tag, but nobody has a right to treat somebody like that just because they have a badge. You can tell I'm pretty passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, you get upset. Don't get too upset. They need some water.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, I don't want you to get too upset out here, Mr. Brooks.
I'll try not to pass out on you or anything.
No, and man, the DA. So, Mr. Brooks, you gotta, like I say, this DA office and the people in our community still don't know so you gotta get out here and walk on these streets, Mr. Brooks. You can't be scared. I want you, man. Maybe the best man win, and just put all your forth into it. And we're gonna pray for you that you can do your thing. So, Mr. Brooks, when you're ready to take office in September, you're gonna be ready, and you're gonna get your team together. Are you gonna have what is that team called? It's a homicide team, a CSI team. You know, the lost cases. You know.
Oh, the cold case.
The cold case. Are you still gonna have that around?
I actually think there's a need for something like that, but I wouldn't wait 5 years. And cold cases tend to be predominantly homicides.
Okay.
People want to have an answer on why their kin got killed. They have a right to know.
Okay.
And I think that if you're going to have a cold case, let's start it at 2 years. If you haven't arrested somebody in 2 years, it's a cold case.
Okay, so that's what cold case. I see it on TV, but like I say, that's your lane. So if something past 2 years, you ain't found a killer, it's a cold case.
Well, right now here they use 5 years. I think that's too long.
Okay.
But if you haven't arrested somebody, then that's a cold case.
Okay. Wow. It's a lot you got to go, man. That DA office is a stressful job, Mr. Brooks. And I see you down there walking all the time. You'll never sit down. You always walking back and forth with your head on. I be worried about because you'll never sit down. You just keep walking. I be seeing you walk all the time.
I work out 4 days a week.
Okay.
I can still deadlift 370 pounds. Now, I'm a strong man. I've got built big, and I started off working in fields and all, and I like to lift weights, and it keeps me healthy. And hopefully I won't die in office of stress. But the point is, I believe that I can do a better job. I believe that I have the experience to do the job. And I think that I can make this a safer county for everybody here and treat people fairly. Fairly is important in this world. And the district attorney's job is to provide justice. If that's the key thing, and it is, then we have to be fair to everybody. Just because you look one way or you look another, we shouldn't treat you any different in front of the law.
Right. And that's what this city has to get out of their mind, man. It's sad. It's still some racism here in Hamilton County. I'm gonna let you know.
Oh, sure.
I had experienced it last week, a little bit of it, because I'm in the court system, and I see you, and I experienced it just by my business. I experienced it, but I called my lawyer, and I talked to him about it. He just told me to keep my head up. But I experienced it myself by being a black bail bond owner here in Hamilton County. A judge tried to talk to me any kind of way, and I didn't think it went well. But guess what? They better get over it because since I've been in office since September, I done made more bonds than people who've been in office 30 years as a bail bonding company. I'm the new kid on the block. I want to work with the DAs. They work with me just fine. But at the same time, it's about decent and order, Mr. Brooks. And it's about treating people nice. I don't care how much money you got and how you look, like you said. It's about decent orders and respecting people. And one thing I did, like you said you want your DAs to respect everybody and be happy, and you're not going to put up for no foolishness.
No.
Wow. And so this DA race, y'all, man, is very serious. We're going to have more debates about this. We're going to make Mr. Brooks come out to the community. They're going to have some community forums between now and August because the next time it's getting serious. You're going to see a lot of posters, you're going to see a lot of commercials. He ain't going to sit down. So if you walk up to you downtown and give you a flyer, take it. It's good to look at both opponents. You choose who you want to choose. I don't tell nobody who to vote for because I don't have a heaven and I don't have a hell to put you in. So you take your own decision, but make sure y'all make the right choice because this is going to be in your child's life and your life for the next 8 years. It's going to determine on you. So many people at Volkswagen get pulled over and go to jail for stuff, and they call me and they say, man, you know what, man, you know the DA? I'm like, I don't know the DA because I don't know who gonna be, what judge going in front of. I don't know what DA gonna be. Now, I don't get involved in that. I'm just here to make your buzz. But I trust and truly think that the DA that we're gonna put in office here is gonna help our community. Mr. Brooks said, y'all, for y'all to smoke marijuana.
I don't want to arrest you. I just want to tax it and use the money to educate kids. You know.
Hey, you about right, Mr. Brooks. Some cities and states that got marijuana, crime went down.
Well, sure.
Why is they tell me? I think it go up, but statistics shows that crime actually went down.
Well, then you can buy it legally. You're not out there looking for somebody to be your dealer. And I've found over the years that most drug dealers would say any kind of drug. So you're more likely to get shot or hurt over there.
Right.
If you can go down to the 7-Eleven store and get what kind of particular weed you want or whatever, okay. You know, we have tried to outlaw innocuous drugs in the past. Alcohol, you know, it didn't work well. It increased crime.
Okay.
Legalizing something like marijuana, I think, would cut crime.
Right. Now, it has in some places a haircut, I guess, because they know I don't know. I still ain't figure that out. They got marijuana. They made more money for the schools. They cut crime. And it's like everybody doing all right. No, it's going to be crime out there. But when marijuana came in, it cut it tremendously in a lot of places.
Well, and a lot of people who have severe illnesses like cancer,
right.
Marijuana works on them where the pills don't. Okay. Instead of giving them a prescription for opioid pills, let them smoke a joint. Now, which one's more likely to hurt you and make you an addict? Well, those pills. I mean, those companies that sold billions of those pills, ain't nobody going to jail that killed all these people with drug problems and overdoses.
Right.
They just left them just a little slightly less of a billionaire. Okay. Now, marijuana, as I said, it should be legal. It should be taxed. It should be, give another store here for somebody to sell something.
Right. So, I mean, that's a big point. And I think you get some votes off of that one. No, I don't think I know you. I mean, if you keep talking like that, I mean, that's what they want to hear. I'm just hearing my ears to the streets. And they were like, they really want somebody who can fight for that. We know it might not happen overnight, but they feel like, man, they ride down the street with a blunt in their mouth, not bother nobody, and they get pulled over. But then I told them they got pulled over because their tag was expired or their tent was too doing. What about their tent law? What about their tent law? That's the first step they always use. As a DA, how you gonna refer that? Because I know you hear that a lot.
Well, you know, there's a certain specific tent that it can be. I think it's 27%, if I remember correctly. How the heck are you going to prove it? Well, you can't prove it. Did they have somebody out there doing scientific tests? I think if you get pulled over for a tent law, that case should be dismissed 99.9% of the time. It's a tool. It is a tool to pull people over that they want to.
Wow. You're right. It's a tool because it's working though.
Well, it shouldn't. And that's where you go to the city officers, not the city officers, but say it was a Chattanooga City policeman. That's when you go to talk to the chief of police. And if this officer is doing it regularly, you want to point it out. And if they arrest somebody for this and it gets dismissed and it's cost you money, well, then you can bring a lawsuit against them.
Okay.
I mean,
But that many lawyers in Hamilton County ain't gonna sue the system here because a lot of them buddies.
well, there's
it.
over 1,500 of them. There's going to be
Okay.
a few that will do anything for money.
Okay, okay. Well, I think they need to put their name on the list because a lot of people here in our county feel like they left out and left down because they see everybody working together. This is all I hear all the time. Tony, they all working together. If I get somebody trying to sue somebody, they're gonna blackmail me. I'm scared. We got to change that fear in them, Mr. Brooks.
Well, I think you have to demand the people that are get a special position that they do not use that for their own benefit, that they do not go out because of their specific prejudices to pull over different people. We can't allow that. That's where the DA's office can be involved. When they see a pattern of this, then they need to do something. I'm not going to claim it's easy. I'm not going to claim that it's going to be done overnight. But they have to know that they have somebody in the position of power that cares about that issue. And if you can prove it to me, I'll do something about it.
Okay. Y'all here? Y'all, Mr. Brooks, y'all was on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube to go back and watch. They got people quick. A lot of people going back and watch this because they're going to see. Then you know your opponent is going to come back and watch this too. And
okay.
So I'm just being honest to get ready because everybody watch WPTP. They might not be watching them, but as we put this on the air on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, people gonna use this as a tool and go back. So whatever you gotta say, man, get it out there, be real with them. I'm gonna let you have the mic again. Say whatever you're gonna say, because I'm telling you what you say on this station will determine your vote in the black community. When I say that, because black folks want to hear something good, they want to hear the truth, and they don't want to be lied to. The Caucasian people, the white folks, they gonna vote for who they want to vote for. It's a county-wide race. They already going to the polls. It's no problem. They're gonna wake up, get in their car. But it's my community that don't know the lack of knowledge that we got to teach them. And I'm here to teach them. And I need you to just keep it simple and plain. Why would you be the best DA? That's only in my community. They're gonna say, why should I vote for him? Why should I vote for him?
Wow.
And you're gonna tell them why, Mr. Brooks. And if you can get in there and do the best you can and do your thing.
Oh, I think that I will. Look, everybody should be treated the same in the system of justice. And black folks tend to suffer more as victims of crime than any other group. Part of the DA's problem is we have to convince people in the inner city that the DA's office is trustworthy. That if they come up and they're a witness, that we're going to protect them. Right. We don't want them to come in here and they're absolutely scared to death of retribution from their people in the community. Now, you do that by you go out and you go to every organization that asks you to. You go and talk to them. You build a relationship. That's what you do, I believe. But again, these things don't get changed in a day. But if the person at the top wants to change things, they can gradually do it. If the person on the top just screams, I'm going to go for maximum, and they talk about gang violence, look, that's a euphemism. They're saying black folks. That's what I hear when I hear that.
Right, you're right.
And so the key is to make the people that live downtown and all around that they can believe in the DA and he's there to do the right thing, to bring justice and to do the fair thing. And I think I am that person. I've had a career in this town. I've done many things, and you ain't going to find many people that say that I am not competent and that I treat people poorly.
No, somebody say you wealthy. I mean, what I've been hearing about you, he's wealthy. He's got the milk going on to the Golden Gallon stores.
Well, that was a long time
They say
ago.
he was the man for that. And I commend him because I grew up in East Chattanooga, and it was a Golden Gallon there. We used to go there and get that milk.
Oh, yeah. My dad sold milk to a co-op.
Wow.
My father taught me at an early age. He said, you got to watch. I'm a firm believer in unions. I think unions help folks.
Okay.
And co-ops are like a union. And my father taught me that if the average guy doesn't get together and stick together, then the people with power and the money step on them. You got to work hard every day to provide fairness out there. And you can't let somebody, it is very hard to be poor and to be successful. You've got to work so hard to come up through being poor. I think economic opportunities are one of the keys. And as I mentioned earlier, we should be working hard to give young kids jobs, pay them money, hire them here at a local level. And those kind of things can make a difference 10, 20 years down the road. I went to Ooltewah when it was a poor school. I went and we had.
It ain't poor no more.
No. It became a lot richer over the years, but it was poor when I was a kid. And went to school and, 4 guys convicted of first-degree murder. I understood that. I understood what it was like to be poor. And you give people opportunities, it's amazing what they can do. And I think that's part of it's a huge, I think did we die?
No, go ahead.
I think that's a huge part of the problem is that they don't have, people in this inner city don't have the opportunities, and especially young kids. I can't think of a group that needs more assistance than young folks.
Right. So y'all, this is Mr. John Allen Brooks. Y'all heard what he had to say today on WPTP. Make sure y'all go back and share this. He's running for district attorney. Let's give everybody a fair chance. He said, y'all heard what he said. He got a lot going on. He's gonna be working kind of hard from now to August, right?
August 4th, and if I'm lucky, I'll work harder after September 1st.
Okay. So y'all see, he said he's gonna vote for John Brooks, Democratic Party on the ballot. It's a Republican, it is a Democrat. So you pick who you want to pick, and we love you. May God bless you. May he keep you, may he strengthen you. And Mr. Brooks, you do a good job, and hope all is well. And just keep your head up, keep smiling, and run a clean campaign, all right?
I'll keep my head up high.
Okay. Mr. Brooks is gonna let y'all have it. He gonna have fun with you though. I can tell now. He gonna put up on no foolishness.
No.
So y'all see Mr. Brooks out. Y'all speak to him and get ready for election. Thank y'all. May God bless y'all. See y'all next week. And Dr. Woods, y'all pray for Dr. Woods that she's still currently in the hospital. So y'all send 423-713-7614. We praying for Dr. Woods. We said we sorry and saddened what happened this week, and I know what caused it. And it's sad. Well, y'all come for my friend, I'm gonna come for y'all, and we're gonna thing together. Mr. John Brooks, y'all make sure y'all go back on all our 5 platforms and go back and look at what Mr. John Brooks. Look at this video carefully before you make a decision and who you're gonna vote for, because I want y'all to make the right decision. We got 8 years. It's gonna determine what goes on in your career, in your life, your child's life. You got anything to say, Mr. Brooks?
I was going to say, if you want to read about me, I've got a website, brooks4da.com. If you got questions, write them in to me and I'll answer them for you. But that is it's something that I think that if somebody has a question, it's a good place to find an answer about.
Yeah,
me.
Brooks from the you gotta be up in the days and night now. They're gonna be sending you questions.
And I get up early.
Okay. All right. Y'all must. So get ready to. So you got time for debate. Somebody talking about doing a debate with you and your opponent. You have time for debates?
Oh, I'd love one.
Okay, it's one figure to come up. I know in the black community because, like I said, white folks gonna vote for who they want to vote for. The blacks are still kind of leery with this the DA election. His numbers are down low, and they don't want to come out for nobody. But we're gonna make sure we'll have a debate, and we'll have a good debate, and that's what we're gonna do. I thank you, Mr. Brooks, for coming on live. Be careful out there; it's hot outside, so don't die faint. Drink a lot of water and go campaign. Thank y'all.